A good late afternoon to you and thanks for joining us. I'm Holly and you're watching 𝐊𝐶𝐞 TV live from Sydney. This is the last show of the day, the last trade. And there's no better way to wind down the day than with today's market close commentary. So let's dive straight in. Australian shares ended flat, pairing early gains as gains in financial and utility stocks were offset by losses in material, industrial and tech companies. The slump in commodity and oil prices and persistent concerns over rising COVID-19 cases weighed on market sentiment. The ASX 200 ended flat, which is how the benchmark index opened early today, and then gained as much as 0.4% to hit a fresh record high. Among the individual stocks, insurance company Suncorp Group topped the gainers list by rising 8%. Some of the other notable gainers were insurance major Insurance Australia Group and real estate firm Charter Hall Long WALE REIT. On the flip side, however, media firm News Corp emerged as the top loser, falling a staggering 7.7%. Some of the other worst performers were gold miners Gold Road Resources and Ramelius Resources. Next up on the show, let's see how the sectoral indices performed today. While the market witnessed subdued trades as 7 of the 11 sectoral indices ended in the red zone. The materials sector emerged as the top laggard with a 1% loss, followed by industrials, which dropped 0.9%. Some of the other sectors that closed lower include IT, energy, consumer discretionary, telecom, and consumer staples. On the flip side, the financial sector emerged as the biggest gainer, rising 1.6%. Among others, utilities, A-REIT, and healthcare also ended with marginal gains. And in the banking pack, all big four lenders, that is Westpac, Commonwealth Bank, ANZ and NAB, ended higher. Meanwhile, material stocks witnessed selling pressure due to a fall in iron ore prices. The iron ore futures on China's Dalian Commodity Exchange fell over 5% to 845 yuan a tonne today, its lowest level since the 12th of April. China's decision to curb steel output in the second half of the year have taken a toll on the iron ore prices. The index heavyweights BHP Group, Rio Tinto and Fortescue Metals ended in the negative terrain. In a similar trend, the gold miner stocks also remained under stress owing to a fall in the price of the yellow metal. The gold futures were trading 1.2% lower. Aussie gold miners like Gold Road Resources, Perseus, Ramelius and Regis Resources were among the top losers. The energy stocks also ended lower, trading flat in the crude oil prices. Brent crude oil futures dropped 2.25%, while WTI crude oil futures for September delivery fell at 2.4%. The sectoral leaders Woodside Petroleum, Santos, Oil Search and Beach Energy ended in the red. And now, before we look at the shares that are in the news today, it's time for a short break.
Hi, I'm Sage, and get ready to take the crypto ride with me on 𝐊𝐶𝐞 TV. Watch the Crypto Buzz every Tuesday and join the excitement at 𝐊𝐶𝐞 TV. From Bitcoins to NFTs to Dogecoin and DeFi, we have updates about everything around these digital currencies. Understand the investing rationale and the risks involved in the space with me, Sage, on Crypto Buzz. Keep watching 𝐊𝐶𝐞 TV.
Hi and welcome back. I'm Holly and you're watching 𝐊𝐶𝐞 TV live from Sydney. This is the last trade. In this segment now, we'll shift our focus towards stocks that created a buzz today. Shares of NAB, or National Australia Bank for the unfamiliar, gained as much as 1.7% on an agreement to acquire Citigroup's Australian consumer business. The deal, which is valued at around $1.2 billion, will help create the second largest credit card provider in the country. As per the agreement, 800 city employees and its senior management will join NAB, although there will be no transfer of tech systems or platforms. Shares of Australian banking major Westpac rose as much as 1.7% on a plan to sell its life insurance business. The lender has signed a $900 million deal with 𝐕𝐢𝐝 Life Australia. In addition, the transaction includes ongoing payments to Westpac, which have not been included in the sale price. The bank will also enter into an exclusive 20-year strategic alliance for the provision of life insurance products to Westpac's Australian customers. And shares of aged care services provider Regis Healthcare fell as much as 9% on concerns regarding employee underpayments. In an exchange update, the company said it had identified potential underpayments of employee entitlements worth up to $40 million for certain current and former employees. The share price of Australian real estate firm Charter Hall Long WALE REIT rose nearly 3% to hit a 9-month low on robust earnings. The company reported a 22% jump in fiscal 2021 revenue and a more than 400% surge in attributable profit. The firm forecasted fiscal 2022 operating profit to rise 4.5%. And shares of tech hardware and equipment firm Smart Parking climbed 4.5% on acquiring Enterprise Parking Solutions. The transaction price is $1.54 million and will be funded by existing cash reserves. The acquisition is expected to speed up Smart Parking's growth to the target of 1,000 sites under management by June 2023. Enterprise Parking takes care of 68 parking sites across the UK, while Smart owns 693 under its management. And shares of Mineral Explorer Ionic Rare Earths jumped 9% to 3 cents on a business update. The company's board has approved advancing to a formal evaluation of a standalone separation and refining facility. The facility is for the downstream processing of a mixed rare earth carbonate product. The MREC products will be from the company's Makuutu Rare Earths project in Uganda. The processing will produce refined critical and heavy rare earth oxides. And moving on now, shares of Suncorp Group rose over 8% after the financial services company declared record dividends for the financial year 21. The company reported strong financial year 21 results with net profit after tax of $1.033 despite the challenging external backdrop of the COVID-19 pandemic. Although revenue fell 4%, while cash earnings surged 42.1%. Its board has declared a fully franked ordinary dividend of 40 cents per share, bringing the total dividends for the financial year 21 to 66 cents per share. Plus, the board has also declared a fully franked dividend of 8 cents and has announced the on-market share buyback of up to $250 million. And now before we move on to the shares that are in the news today, it's time for another short break.
Tune in to get the latest information.
Whether it's about market movements or the currency graph,
Sectoral coverage or industry news.
we cover it all on our news segments.
Be on top of the latest news
With 𝐊𝐶𝐴 TV. Hi and welcome back. I'm Holly and you're watching The Last Trade. Insurance Australia Group saw its shares rallying over 5% after the insurance major announced changes to its board. The company's chairman, Elizabeth Bryan, will retire at the AGM on the 22nd of October after 6 years of heading the organisation. She'll be succeeded by Tom Pockett, who has been a director of IAG since 2015. and is the chairman of the audit committee. Not to mention, Duncan Boyle will also step down from IAG's board. Meanwhile, 3 new directors, David Armstrong, George Sorterell and Scott Pickering, will join the board as a part of the ongoing renewal process. The board restructuring aims to ensure it has the optimum mix of skills and experience to support the company. And shares of telecom firm Telstra climbed nearly 1% to hit a 52-week high on acquisition news. Telstra Health, the digital health arm of Telstra, has entered into an agreement to acquire clinical and practice management software company Medical Director for $350 million. And shares of rail freight business Aurizon rose 1.5%, pairing opening losses after the company released earnings results for the full financial year. The company has also declared its final dividend at 14 cents per share, up 5% compared to the previous corresponding period. For the financial year 21, the company has reported 1% growth in underlying profit as against the last fiscal. Earnings before interest, tax depreciation and amortization also rose by 1%, driven by new contracts and higher volumes from existing customers. Revenue, however, was down 2%, while free cash flow increased 1%. Going forward, the company expects Group's financial year 2022 EBITDA to be in the range of $1,425 million to $1,500 million. And shares of Latitude Group gained over 5% on intraday trading on a deal to acquire fintech firm Simple. The company has signed a deal to acquire Simple Loans for $200 million in cash and shares to become Latitude's auto and personal lending platform. The deal will help boost the company's consumer lending growth and reduce costs. According to the company, the deal will be financed by the issue of $38.46 million. Latitude shares at $2.60 per share and $100 million in cash. Simple's founders will receive $23.5 million of the shares, escrowed for 2 years. And now, before we look at the shares that are in the news today, it's time for another short break. This one.
Has your week hit you for 6? Barely had time to breathe, let alone throw a flick pass? Well, don't worry, 𝐊𝐚𝐥𝐤𝐢𝐧𝐞 has all your sporting action covered. Each episode, I'll bring you the biggest sports news of the week. Exclusive interviews with athletes, sports commentators and journalists. Plus, we'll also look at the finances off the field from new broadcast deals, sports commercial partnerships and more with sports business. So for a sports show that tackles all the big issues, ball and all, join me, James Preston, for Game On every Friday, exclusive to 𝐊𝐚𝐥 TV.
Welcome back, viewers. I'm Holly and you're watching 𝐊𝐚𝐥 TV live from Sydney. This is the last show of the day, the last trade. Now in our next segment, a look east towards the Asian market performance. The Asian markets were trading on a mixed note amid a fall in gold and oil prices. Investors also digested an upbeat US jobs report, while holidays in Japan and Singapore led to thin trading conditions. China's Shanghai Composite was up nearly 1%, while South Korea's Kospi traded marginally higher. Thailand's SET Composite rose 1.1%, while Hong Kong's Hang Seng rose 0.9% as well. India's BSE Sensex gained 0.5% in the opening trades. But bucking the trend, Taiwan's weighted stock index dropped 0.5%, and Jakarta's composite in Indonesia was down 0.2% as well. Moving on from Asia to the US now, and Wall Street closed higher on Friday following a stronger than expected jobs report. The Dow Jones Industrial Average and the S&P 500 closed at record highs, while the Nasdaq Composite fell 0.4%. And now, before we look at the shares that are in the news today, it's time for another short break.
there, James Preston for 𝐊𝐿𝐼𝐴 TV. Are you into gaming and virtual reality? Does AI and the endless possibilities it entails capture your interest? Or are you constantly trawling through the web to try and discover the latest updates and innovations in the tech space? Well, let us do the work for you. From the latest product launches to shocking affairs on the World Wide Web, exclusive interviews and information about the top companies like Apple and Google to brand new tech startups vying for your attention. 𝐊𝐼𝐴's Tech Beat has the latest in what matters in the world of technology. Join me every single Monday on the Tech Beat, exclusive to 𝐊𝐼𝐴 TV.
Welcome back to The Last Trade. In the last segment of this show, let's have a quick look at the crypto market performance. The cryptocurrencies were trading lower during the Asian trading hour on Monday, with major coins like Bitcoin and Ether retreating from their recent highs. The price of Bitcoin and Ether hit their highest levels in more than 2 months during the weekend, after Ethereum blockchain network updated its software. Bitcoin, the world's largest cryptocurrency by market capitalization, was down 2%. The most popular crypto surged to over 45,000 US last week, its highest since May 18. In a positive development, mobility software company MicroStrategy, which holds the highest number of Bitcoins among public companies globally, has decided to buy the digital asset even after it reported impairment losses during the June quarter of 2021. According to buybitcoinworldwide.com, Elon Musk's Tesla, Galaxy Digital Holdings, Voyager Digital, Square as well are among the other leading public Bitcoin holders. Ether, the world's second largest crypto, also retreated 6%. Over the weekend, the coin witnessed strong buying after a software upgrade that'll trim the pace at which fresh tokens are minted. The Ethereum blockchain network updated its software called the London Hard Fork that includes a fee reduction feature called EIP 1559. Meanwhile, the price of other digital currencies like Dogecoin, XRP, and Cardano were trading lower in the range of 3% to 10%. Well, that's just about all for now in the last trade. With our existing operations in Australia, New Zealand, the UK, and Canada, 𝐊𝐼𝐴 Media has launched its operations in US markets. Every day on our first show, the Global Market Roundup, you can get the latest and most important news from the US, Europe, and the Asia Pacific markets. So on that note, I'll see you tomorrow at 10 a.m. live from Sydney. Holly Shields signing off.